Volkswagen is at it again. They're adding excitement and spice to the Polo hatchback. They tried it earlier for us petrol heads, of course, with that 1.6 litre petrol motor, but this time they're doing it in style because the Polo is getting a 1.2 litre TSI motor that's snapped on to a 7-speed dual-clutch automatic transmission, and this is now called the Volkswagen Polo GT TSI. Well, let's find out if it lives up to the name and all those heavy specs. Okay, let's start off from the inside. Now, if you're expecting the Polo GT TSI to come with splashes of racing red, Recaro seats and a Moa steering wheel, forget it. Because the additions to this Polo are of a more everyday variety. When you get on the inside, you'll find that it doesn't have that GT specialness to it, but there are some updates. The music system's new, more fancy. It's got a bigger screen, more buttons, and well, of course, connectivity for auxiliary, for USB and SD card. And that aside, you have a automatic climate control air conditioning system. That aside, the seat bolstering is the same, but there's new fabrics. Okay, so that isn't exactly adrenaline pumping. But you see, Volkswagen has blown their budget on the hardware that's under the hood. Direct injection and turbocharging is used on this petrol motor, and this helps to develop 104 bhp of power from 1197cc of displacement of this 4-cylinder motor. Okay, this may be a small motor, but it is an enthusiastic motor. Once the turbo is spooled up, which is pretty early, say about 1400 RPM, you'll find that it pulls nice and strong. Now, typical of turbocharged motors, the mid-range is very strong, and above 2000 RPM, the Polo GT TSI is very happy and rather quick. The 17.8 kilograms of torque doesn't fade until 4100 RPM. Even as you go higher up into the rev range, it pulls nicely, but it does tend to feel a bit strained there. Right. This aluminum engine is quite audible and not in a sporty way, and the exhaust note won't crack a smile on your face either. And you could argue that a 1.2 litre turbocharged petrol motor with sporty pretensions could make a lot more than 104 bhp, quite easily at that. But Volkswagen also want this to be a fuel-efficient automatic hatchback. In fact, VW claim that despite the punch, the GT TSI returns an RI-tested fuel efficiency figure of 17.2 km per litre, and at the same time it also needs to be smooth to drive in the city. At slow speeds in city traffic, you will feel a bit of that turbo lag because when you're just off idle, it is a bit dull. Once you get past 1400 RPM, that's when the responsiveness really kicks in. And let's not forget the other expensive and high-tech piece of hardware, the 7-speed dual-clutch gearbox. What really helps though is the gearbox. It's smooth, it's quick. The punchy motor and the quick gearbox give the Polo GT great drivability, and it's quite evident in its roll-on acceleration times. The run from 20 to 80 is zapped away in 6.4 seconds. And the run from 40 to 100 km an hour just zooms by in 8.7 seconds. And while straight line acceleration isn't scorching, it is admirably fast. 0 to 60 takes 5 seconds. That's neck and neck with the manual Polo 1.6. And 100 comes up in 11.3 seconds. This is again a third of a second quicker. However, highway stints should prove to be a lot more effortless and fuel efficient. After all, 6th and 7th are overdrive gears. But if you don't want to take it easy, then just slot the gear lever to sport and let the gearbox hold gears longer. It also picks ratios that will keep the revs from dropping below 2000 RPM. And if you want a real GT-like driving experience, you have to be in the manual mode, because when you put your foot down, it will only shift when you hit the 6000 RPM limiter,
and even if you lift off before that, it's not going to upshift, so it gives you that added responsiveness that you're looking for. Even downshifts are quite aggressive. Watch this, 4,000 RPM. It's gone to 6,000 RPM to make that downshift. That is nice. A notable miss here are the paddle shifters. You don't have them. If they were there, that would have really made this feel so nice to drive. I mean, it would have lifted that experience definitely at least 3-4 notches. But they haven't included the paddle shifters because it would have added to the cost, and as it is this petrol engine and automatic gearbox combination which is being imported is going to be on the pricey side.
It seems like the practical side of having a car has kept the Polo from delivering a GT-like experience in every department.
Although Volkswagen have done a special setup in terms of suspension for this engine and gearbox combination, it isn't set towards sportiness in that sense, you know. So it still feels quite normal, handles decently, but no, not really GT sporty.
So the Polo GT bobs over bumpy tarmac, yet it isn't flighty. The steering is light but direct, and the handling is understeery but predictable. So despite its unexciting dynamics, the Polo GT's drivetrain has enough zing to make you want to slip into the driver's seat. And when you come to a standstill, it's the badges that do the talking from every angle. However, the stickers on the side are unlikely to last very long, especially without the protection of a clear coat. Badges aside, there isn't much to mark this out as a special Polo. The bodywork, the black surround of the headlamps, and the design of the 15-inch rims is all shared with the regular Polo. So, what does the Polo GT deliver?
I'm surprised by how much I've enjoyed driving Volkswagen's Polo GT TSI. Well, starting with bigger, it really doesn't make a great first impression. It seems so ordinary, like any other Polo. And even when you get inside, it's got a few extra features, but no clue as to what it can do. But when you hit the road, you find that 1.2-litre motor with its turbocharger and that quick-acting gearbox can deliver a fine driving experience. Sure, it's got a bit of dullness just off idle, but a few hundred RPMs higher up and you've got lots of punch, great fun, and that automatic gearbox, it does wonders, especially when you put it in manual mode and drive it hard. If suspension was just a bit more committed to delivering a more enthusiastic driving experience, it would actually have it felt sporty. Nonetheless, it is a fun car to drive, but it's trying to, on the bigger picture, deliver an experience which is a good petrol automatic hatchback that should do well in just about any conditions. And it does that really quite well. Now let's see what the prices are.
Volkswagen will launch the Polo in 3 colors and 1 trim level only. It will only be offered with the 7-speed automatic gearbox. And the price of this high-tech petrol automatic hatchback is expected to be in the region of 8 to 8.5 lakh rupees.